We're going to be talking about our best dating advice because we're basically professionals at this point.
Yes, coming live from the Dating Professionals. This is Your Couple Tea, episode 13, baby. We are back after a little week layoff.
A layoff? That sounds like we got fired from our job.
Yes, we fired ourselves because we are coming into our professional dating advice series.
Yes, exactly. So
it's a 1-episode series.
Yeah, well, I feel like maybe we could do other topics about it, but we'll see. So we actually just got back from Michigan, so we didn't have 2 uploads last week just because, Thanksgiving,
we don't
holidays.
have a podcast set up in Michigan. That's really the reason. If we did, we would have sent it, but this equipment's expensive, and we only go back to Michigan here and there.
Actually only had one day though while we were here in Arizona, and we were able to film the podcast about the fight, which I'm so glad we did, but we had like zero time because we had one day in between from Austin to going to Michigan.
Yeah, I actually saw a couple comments on the podcast like, wow, like if you really think about it, like Jatie was home for 24 hours and they filmed a YouTube video and a podcast for the Jatie fam. And I'm like, oh, like that actually, it makes me feel good when people realize like, oh, like they're really out here, they're dedicated, and like they want us to have the content and like stuff like that. That makes me feel good. So those comments always are very positive. We love the comments on this channel.
I feel like they're just so positive, and to me it just makes me so excited and like happy. Oh my god, our rice just fell.
Oh no.
Okay, so guys, we have like the most like jank setup on our podcast. So we have this like little bag of rice, a frozen rice that's stuck to the camera.
Not stuck. It's jankly taped to the camera, and it is probably gonna fall and maybe even move our camera. So if you're watching on YouTube, be ready for the madness, baby. But KDB, tell me why you are a dating professional.
I'm really not a professional, but I feel like we have a very healthy relationship, and I see other people's relationships, and I've given other relationship advice. Like, remember when we were on that one couples podcast, our friend, and we basically, they were supposed to interview us, but it turned into couples therapy.
It was like a little couple therapy session.
Everyone was like, Katie's giving the best like relationship advice.
That should be a segment on our channel.
Couples therapy?
Couple therapy with so-and-so.
Oh
and we
my
bring
gosh.
on guests. Yo, that'd be lit.
That'd be fun, because then we'd be like, okay, what are your guys' problems? And then we'd like dive into them.
Guys, if you haven't noticed, like the podcast for us is just like super fun. And it's just, well, everything we do, we love. But like this is just, we come on here, we just shoot exciting. This shit. And
yeah, it's just fun and exciting. But anyway, what were we talking about?
Dating professional. KDB is one of them. I am also a dating professional.
Because I feel like you were such a good boyfriend always. You were such a good husband. Like
if you're only listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, I'm clearly laughing. I'm not a dating professional. Quick disclaimer, we are both not dating professionals. I don't think anyone's a professional. It's always a learning game, and that is one of our tips that we will get into eventually.
But I do feel like I have very good advice that I want to share, just because I was watching a show the other day. It's called Love is Blind, and so many of these times in the show I was just like, dude, why are you saying this? Why are you doing this? Of course your relationship isn't working.
Messing up, bro.
I was like, you're not doing it right. Like, why would you say this? Why would you do this? So it really just inspired me to want to like film this podcast. I was like, Josh, we should do one about like dating advice, like our best advice, things that people shouldn't do, things people should look for in relationships. And I feel like it's just really good to know these things.
Well, yeah, and people can learn from like our mistakes or our failures, like,
which we have a lot.
Not make the same ones themselves. But yeah, I don't know. Let's go into KDB's first topic. Okay. We both have kind of different topics, and we're just gonna send it.
So my first one is, if you're starting to date someone, this is like not like you're already in a relationship dating. It's like you're starting to go on dates. My number one advice would be to be yourself. Do not try and act like anyone else. Don't try and act what you think they would like. So many people try
to put on a front on like first dates and all that, like extra swagged out, extra clean. Like you have to be you. Like obviously you maybe try a little bit more. But
yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with like dressing up or like, but the thing is like, let's say I was dating you and you were such like a country boy, and I'm trying to act like super like country and like just trying to relate to you so hard that I'm not even being myself, and I'm like I'm wearing cowboy boots on the date, doing all these things that I would never do, but I'm just doing it because I think you'd like that.
So when I picked KDB up for our first date ever, I believe I had country music on.
Yeah.
And you're like, do you like country music? And I'm like, it's cool. Like I go back and forth on music. I listen to all types of genres. So like it wasn't weird for me to be listening to country music, but I'm going to pick up this girl.
Like
in the country, and I was just setting the tone. I was setting the vibes.
You thought I lived in a little country town. Yes, you did.
No, I swear to God, it was a summer day, or it was a warm day in Michigan, and country was the vibe that day for me. But you got in the car and you're like, you like country? And I was like, it's cool. I'm like more of a Post Malone type of guy. And you're like, all right, bet, put that on. Because she was like not vibing with the country.
No, I wasn't not vibing. I like country music. I didn't say that. I was just, when you said Post Malone, I was like, I love Post Malone. And then you put Post Malone on.
Yeah.
But my thing is like, don't try and act like someone you're not just to try and relate to them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you try so hard, then they're going to fall in love with the wrong person. And then reality is you're going to end up being yourself eventually once you're comfortable in that relationship. And they might not like what's going on anymore. You guys might have differences.
I like that.
So I just think it's good to be yourself.
All right, let's bounce back and forth. For me, my first tip would be don't fall in love with potential. Like, you're going on these dates and stuff, you meet someone and you're like,
oh, that's good.
Oh, like they're going to school to be a doctor, or they're going to school to be like this very successful like job, whatever it may be, an engineer or something. And it's like, I feel like a lot of times people fall in love with potential, or like
or
the
like
thought of like someone being successful or going to be successful.
Yes.
And that is very attractive, I think. But I think a lot of times people just fall in love with that, or when they're dating, like they're like, oh, they have potential, or in a different mindset, it's like, oh, like they look at the best in people. Like I like the best in people, but maybe that person isn't what they're thinking, and they're just like, oh, but they have potential.
Well, that's the problem with a lot of relationships too.
I hear people say that a lot.
Me too. And like, even if people have like bad relationships, like we've even had friends that haven't had like the most healthiest relationships, but you look at them and you're like, it's not that they're a terrible person, because this person might have some like redeeming qualities, and like you almost feel bad for them. You feel their story, but it's like at the end of the day, it's not okay for them to treat you a certain way. Or like some people look at other people in dating and they're like almost like a project. Like, okay, they might be a broken person,
well, that's what I'm saying. That's the potential. Like, oh, like what if they if they just change this and this, like we have potential. Or I feel like people say that all the time. Like, oh, they got potential. Like,
they just have to work on this.
They just got to work on this and this. Like, okay, well, you're not here to change someone. Like,
yeah.
Although people do change for the better when they meet like the right person, but
I think it's good if someone is making changes, and that's good to know. But sometimes I think people are just hoping for something that's not in the relationship, that it's lacking.
If you just started dating and you're already like looking at, well, they do have potential if this changes, then something's probably not right. And also, I did just notice it's Vlogmas Day 1. We're doing Vlogmas on a YouTube channel, and we are both. I got red pants on. She's got the green top on.
We're so Christmassy.
We are Christmas.
Babe, those are orange, but they look red. They're
like reddish orange, babe. Like you could definitely sway them. Like it's like a burnt red.
Yeah, true.
Burnt red.
I'm very excited to do Vlogmas, because we haven't done vlog. Oh, did we do it last year?
We've done Vlogmas every year.
Oh, okay.
But we haven't vlogged every day in a while.
Yeah, so we haven't done that in a while.
It's gonna be hype.
Okay, back to the podcast. Okay, the thing that I think is really important when you start dating someone is find out why you're dating someone, and find out why they're dating. Are they dating for a hookup? Are they dating for marriage?
Are they just trying to smash?
Are they just trying to smash?
They're just trying to smash.
Are they trying? Because like, to be fully transparent, like if that's your goal,
is that why you dated me? You're just trying to smash.
You know, that's not my intentions ever. My intention always was to date to marry, but some people don't have that intention, and that's what I believe in. And I'm not going to judge anyone else for what they do. But some people, like some girls, just want to hook up. Some guys just want to hook up. So if you better make that very known.
Want like a good time, maybe someone just wants a good time.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is you have to make that known, that like if you're dating for a serious relationship and they're just like. I feel like it's important to say that. Just be like, no. And that's why it's also important, if you are dating for marriage, maybe to not just hook up with them right away,
Well, yeah, and they'll usually have this in their Tinder bio.
Will they really?
Kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was like, how do you know this? Were you on Tinder?
Josh is on
Tinder.
Funny Tinder story. When I used to work at a boxing club, and we made money off of selling memberships, so I was basically a salesperson. I did, like, our owner came in and he's like, go crazy, like think of the most unique ways to sell memberships, like you guys got this. And
shut up.
Me being the guy I was like, bet. I've never made a Tinder. I want to make a Tinder. And like my profile picture was like my boxing, like with my work shirt on. And then
you are not using work as an excuse to make a Twitter.
I promise on our relationship, never did I ever go back onto that Tinder and look or swipe or anything. I have still to this day don't know how to use Tinder, which actually is like embarrassing.
Babe,
I feel like
it's literally just swipe right or left. That's it.
Yeah, I know, but like, okay.
You knew that.
I promise you I did it.
Oh my God.
I promise you. And honestly, that account might still be out there. I'm pretty sure I deleted it, but
that's funny.
I'm not 100%
So you got a Tinder just to try and sell memberships?
That was my mindset, and like it was like one of those days where I was like super vibey. I was like, oh yeah, this would be a great idea. And then I set it up and I just never even went back on it. Like I was like, that's so stupid. Like I'm not gonna sell memberships.
Want to know a funnier Tinder story? So my friend
Catherine McKinley.
What?
I know this story.
Can I say it?
Are you talking about the boat one?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you can say it. I'm just saying, like, you a dog for this.
No, okay. It never even worked out.
This is why you need to find out why they're trying to date. Because Katie B was on Tinder. I'm spoiling it. Trying to get on a boat. Okay. Trying to get on a yacht.
So my friend, I wasn't trying to get on a yacht. My friend and I, we were in Florida and he's a guy. And so it wasn't like that. Like we're like best friends growing up. And so we went to Florida together and we didn't really have any money, but we wanted to go on a boat so bad because we just, I don't know, we love Florida. We love who wouldn't want to go on a boat in Florida?
Yeah, everyone loves going on a boat.
So we both had Tinders and we're like, let's swipe left or right and see if we can make friends. Like we did it out of like the whole, like, let's try and make friends. And then like, so we're like looking through, we're like, let's try and make a friend with a boat. That way we could like, cause like, we don't want to go on like dates with these people. We didn't want to like, I mean, we'd go to the beach with people, but we're like, if they have a boat, like then swipe right. So we were looking at all the pictures in Florida and a lot of them had boats and we'd swipe right on all the ones with boats. But then like, we'd start messaging them and then they were weird. So we never met up with anyone or like we just wanted to go on a boat.
Oh, they were the weird ones or you were the weird ones trying to get on their boat?
It's not like we're trying to like marry these people or like hook up. We literally just want to hang out on someone's boat. Like there's nothing wrong with that.
Hey, I always respect the hustle.
We couldn't afford it and we just wanted friends with a boat.
That's all that was.
And if they were weird, we would have got off the boat. It's not like we were that desperate.
One day you will repay the favor and take a weird little KDB on a boat, on your yacht.
I've taken you on my parents' boat plenty of times.
Shut up. Okay. My next tip is believe people when they show you who they are.
Yeah.
They show up late for the date. They're inconsiderate of your time. They don't care about your time.
If it happens
they don't respect your time. Depends on how they follow it up. You know, if they're apologetic about it.
If they have a reason.
Or something, crazy things come up, you know? But for example, I was on a date once. Mm-hmm. And this was right after I broke up with my ex. And me and this girl went to a Red Wings game.
You never told me this. You never told me this story.
No, it's not a bad story.
You went on a date?
Like, to me in my head, it wasn't a date because I wasn't dating for a relationship because
Joshua.
No, I'm not saying no. I'm not saying no. Oh my gosh, you're not letting me finish. I'm not saying I was dating for a hookup either. I was just going out to have a good time. I was trying to get like my previous relationship off my mind. I was just trying to have fun. And I was like, oh, like I love Red Wings. I love hockey. Like, let's go to a game.
I love women.
And at the game, this girl showed me who she was because there was like 3 other dudes hitting her up.
Really?
Yeah. And then I also got a text from a friend at the game. It's like, yo, I'm pretty sure so-and-so's talking to so-and-so. It's like, be careful. So after like we drove back to my parents' house and I was like, yeah, like this is never going to happen again.
Did you actually like have like a little breakup thing or just said goodbye? And
no, we weren't dating or anything, but I was like, yo, like, you know, everyone's telling me you're talking to all these guys. Like, I'm good on that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, cause I was just going out to have a good time. It wasn't like any beef or all, or like anything like that. But it's like, yeah, like this isn't gonna happen again. You know, like.
Do I know the girl? Can you tell me after?
You don't know her.
Are you gonna tell me after?
I could tell you, but it would mean nothing because you don't know her. But sure, I will tell you.
That's just funny because I love. I don't know why I love hearing stories I've never heard. I've never heard that one.
Yeah, it's just random. It's like there's no reason I would ever bring that up.
That's gotta be such a crappy feeling though, because like you're out on a date, like still a little excited about it. Then people are like, "Yeah, don't talk to her." But that happened to me. That happened to me when I was talking to you. Yeah. I had people messaging me.
And the reason why that was a problem, by the way, I didn't even say, because like she was telling me obviously the opposite, like, oh, she's not talking to anyone, blah, blah, blah. And then like I heard from a bunch of other people that she was. Like, that's why it was a problem. If not, it's not like we were dating or anything, so it wouldn't be an issue, but like, don't lie to you. Lied to me. So you just told me you're a liar, so I'm going to believe what you're telling me. And we're not going to continue the relationship or like going out.
And you're starting the relationship off on a bad note. So like, that's never really good. But
no, I totally agree.
Yeah, no, that's not good. I feel like the thing is a lot of times when you first start dating someone, pay attention to, you have to be so aware and pay attention to how people are. Like I was watching Love is Blind, and this guy was like pouring. No,
Katie B watches a show one time on an airplane and she's hooked.
It was good.
She's hooked.
But the thing is like, it's just an example. So this guy was like pouring his heart out to this girl. Mind you, they can't even see what they look like. They're just on a date. It's like a blind date. But literally, they can't see. They're in two different rooms talking to each other. Mm-hmm. So this guy's like pouring his heart out to this girl because they start like really liking each other over their conversations. This girl's doing like jumping jacks and like working. And he's like, "Are you working out while I'm like pouring my heart out to you?" And he's like, he got like very offended because he's like, that just shows like so much little respect. And I was like, I agree with that. I was like, what is she doing? This guy's like, and he's like paying attention to little things like that. And because of that, he didn't continue going on more dates with her. And they would have never worked out because of that.
Of course. And that goes with the topic, like, believe people when they show you who they are. Like, if we're on a date and the whole time, like, I'm on my phone, checking my phone and blah, blah, blah. And, like, especially if it's, like, a first date or something, it's, like, that's just going to show you that, like, I don't care or I don't value, like, your time or I'm, like, too busy.
Or uninterested. And I just think it's very important to pay attention to a lot in the beginning of a relationship, especially.
Facts.
Another thing I think you need to talk about, and it's crazy because some people will be dating for like 10 years and literally never even talk about these things. Talk about your goals and talk about them early on, because I'm not trying to waste my time. If I was dating someone right now, I'm not trying to waste any time. I'm telling you all my goals. I'm telling you what I want to do with my future. I'm telling you where I want to live or where I'd like to live. I'm telling you how many kids I want. I want to figure out what you want and what I want and see if our futures align.
It's crazy to me too, because like so many people, I feel like they couldn't even tell you their 5 or like 10-year goal or their next year goal. You know, like a lot of people don't even do that. So I'm like, in my opinion, if you don't even have goals for yourself, like how would we work out as a relationship? You know?
Exactly.
Like if I asked you that on a date and you're like, oh, I don't know, like just trying to live like today, like something like that, like, yo, like for me personally, it was like, that wouldn't work. Like I wanted like in 5 years personally, like I want to have kids. I want to have a family. I want to be like, have successful businesses. Like, you know, like we got to complement each other well. Like if you were like, oh no, I want to be single and travel like across the country and go to every state and every country, I'd be like, okay, well, we're not going to work because I'm not trying to do that.
Because in my opinion, it's like if we start dating and we don't get that like right off the bat, like if I'm talking to Josh and I'm like, if I don't never ask him if he want kids, and then we get to the point where we've been dating for 2 years and then he tells me, oh, I don't want kids. I never want kids. But like, that's something that I always wanted. It's like, now you're like so deeply in love with this person. And now you either have to let this relationship go or let like a big dream of yours go. And I feel like that's just kind of like, why wouldn't you nip that in the butt in the beginning? And because you want to be with the person that like aligns with your plans and your dreams too. And obviously there's compromise in that too. You know, like let's say I wanted 2 kids and Josh wanted 4 kids. Like it's not like, oh, it has to be my way or his way. You know, there's always compromise in love. And that's what love is. I feel like when you truly love someone, you're going to do things for them. You're going to bend over backwards for them. Let's say if Josh had a ton of money when we first started dating, it's not that I expect him to buy me everything, but it's like once we're more in love, like he should want to take care of me too. And like even vice versa. Like if you're a girl and you make more money and you love your boyfriend or fiance or whatever it is, if you see a future with them, you want to invest in that person because they're going to be your partner. They're not just like, you know, someone that's there.
Especially when you get married, it's like, now
your
like
team,
I claim you. You know what I'm saying? Like you do something and like you poop your pants at the airport.
That's yours.
That's me. So that's me. Oh, that's my wife. Let me go change her pants. I don't know. It's the most random.
They're gonna think I shit my pants now. I have not done that. Have you?
You ever think of that though? Like especially you probably think of this like since I'm fighting and it's like in front of a lot of people watching. It's like, what if like he did something super embarrassing? Like I have to claim that. Like that's my husband.
I'm never embarrassed about that. I'm more so nervous that like you would like lose or something. And I never think you're gonna lose because I always have like full confidence in you. But it's always like, that's what makes me nervous is because I'm like, I would hate to see you sad more. So I don't give a shit what people think. That's really never crossed my mind. Like if you did those Chase Damar punches where you like punch the air, like that shit doesn't cross my mind. If that happened, it's like, it's not the end of the world. Like you know.
Nah, you better divorce me if I ever throw punches like that.
But you
better divorce me.
But you're a good boxer. But you know what I'm saying? Like if something happened to you where it was like, oh shit, like that doesn't look good.
So if I pooped my pants in the airport, what are you claiming me? You walking me to the bathroom? You helping me out?
I'm claiming you.
I respect.
I
respect that.
I mean, I might
I don't even know how.
I might put some shades on, put a hat on, and try and pretend like. But no, I'm claiming you. You're my husband. I love you.
Interesting.
Why you're not claiming me?
Okay, so I have a funny first dating story.
Oh yeah. With me?
I don't know if it correlates really anything to do this besides like don't date someone that's broke. But
wait, what?
No, I'm just kidding. Because it's dating advice. Like that's advice number one. No, I'm kidding. No. I took a girl out. It was my ex-girlfriend. And we were dating, so it was cool. But it was
cool. It was chill.
Yeah, it was chill. But this was back when I was paying for every meal, and I was working a minimum wage job. Like I had no money. And we went to this nice restaurant, and I had no idea how expensive it was. And the bill came, and I gave him my card, and it got declined.
Oh no.
And what did she do? This house should have known she wasn't a ride or die. She gets up and goes to the bathroom. You know, like she wasn't rock. She wasn't like I feel like if my card got declined on one of our dates, you would have been like laughed at me.
I would have been
like your card got declined.
No, I would have. If it was like a first date or like couple dates, I would be like, oh, I got it. Like because I would have tried to diffuse the awkward situation by just being like, oh, I'll pay for it. Like it's not a big deal.
She literally was like, oh, I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
Oh no.
And dipped out. But honestly, it was kind of better for me because it was like, okay, let her go to the bathroom.
Yeah, let me figure this out.
I'm gonna go into my bank account and see what's going on. And then I realized I was like, oh yeah, I just had to transfer some money over. But yeah, that was embarrassing. And no, I didn't have any money, so it was it was tight. It was close. I was like, I might be washing dishes or working for them. Like,
let's talk about this though. What are your thoughts on? Because I know people have a lot of different opinions. What are your thoughts on girls versus guy paying a first date? Who should pay?
The first date, a guy, 100%. I mean, if he's the one that like asks the girl out on a date and stuff, it just depends.
Second, do you think a guy should always pay?
Man, this is such a weird like subject. I feel like I want to say like, yeah, in the first couple of dates, 100%. If I'm a guy, right? Which I am, not if.
We're just learning things on this podcast today.
Okay, so me, Josh, right, wants to take KDB, you know, a girl I just met on a date, and I ask you on a date.
Yeah.
I'm inviting you on a date.
Yeah.
I should pay. Like, it's my idea. I'm inviting you. I'm picking the restaurant or whatever if we decide mutually. Like, that's like if I invite someone into my home for dinner,
you can't expect them to pay here.
For it. And I'm like, okay, you're cooking, right? Like,
yeah.
I invited you, unless like that's what we agreed upon. Like, but like if I invite you over my house for dinner,
yeah,
I should probably be cooking, right? Like I asked you to come to my house to eat dinner.
Exactly. This is my opinion on it. I think a guy should always pay for the first date, especially if they're asking you on a date. But I don't think that guys should pay every single time.
No, 100%. Like once we started dating, like we would go out to eat very often, and it wasn't really like oh, do you want to go on a date? It was like, oh, let's go grab food. Like, yeah, I'm not. You work your own job, I work my own job. Like we paid separately. Like it just made sense.
And the reason I think it's smart is because it's like you even said after, like when we first started dating, you're like, look, I don't want to pay for, and it wasn't because I expected you, because I was trying to pay too.
No, what I said is like if we're gonna go out to eat every other day or every day sometimes, I cannot afford to pay for both of us, and nor do I want to. I mean, I spent a lot of money on my last relationship, and it's like, why was I paying for everything?
You're like, I invested all this money into this, and I just wasted. And I agree with that. And that's when I was like, no, I totally agree. I was like, I'm the one that wants to go out to eat, and I was like, I don't mind paying. Like, because I was trying to pay the whole time. I feel like I never really was like, oh, you pay for me. But the reason I believe that is just because it's like, you are a team, you're a partnership. Like, why should he have to bust his ass at work? And when you're dating, you're not in that. So unless you've been dating for a long time, things might be a little different. But I think in the beginning of a relationship, it definitely should be even back and forth, and even like later on, because you're a team. You're supposed to be helping each other. Like a girl should even want to treat him sometimes. It's not always like a guy has to provide everything. But I'm all for a guy, like, you know, paying, being a gentleman and all that stuff. And okay, this is also another thing. It is a very controversial thing of like girls' thoughts on this.
Oh no.
I don't love, like, I think it's a sweet gesture when a guy gets your door, but I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's me.
Car
it's a personal
door
thing.
or like
Car
just any
door. I can get out my own door unless it's like a special event or something. But if it was like every single time you have to get my car door, to me, I'm just like, I'm not incapable. It makes me feel incapable rather than like taken care of. But it's just that act of kindness. But I think it's so cute if you get the door. But it's like if I'm like sitting there waiting like for like 30 seconds for you to like walk around the car, to me, I guess maybe it's just I'm impatient. I'm like, bro, I can get the door. I'm capable of it.
Yeah, I don't think many people do that, but
no, but some people will. Like some people are like and it's like the gentleman way. And I'm not saying I'm hating on that or saying for me personally, I'm like, I have zero patience. I think it's my fault. Like if you were to get the door, I'd be like, okay, like let's be running at that door then.
Yeah, like let's get going. Yeah, I mean,
I don't know why. Because I've talked about that with a couple girls and they're like, yeah, no, I feel the same way. They're like, it's just like I can do it, but why is that such like? I wonder where like that came from. It's like such an old school like, but I do think it's nice. Like it's a gentleman thing.
It just depends. Maybe if it's like a first date or something, it's like
I think
the nice thing to do.
I think
It's
first
cute.
date is really cute because it shows that they care, you know, that they're a gentleman or that they're going the extra mile.
They're trying to show out.
That's where I think it's sweet.
Okay, I got one. Avoid being manipulated.
Okay, yeah. How would you do that though?
So I feel like it's very easy to tell like people like when like their true intentions, especially like for example, if someone did something and then like said sorry and then they did the same thing again, it's like okay, like they're not actually sorry.
They're not. They're
sorry. Just lying to you.
They're sorry they got caught.
Yeah, or whatever it may be, whatever they're doing. But
okay, this is a big thing. I feel like I don't know. Now there's actually a word for it. It's called gaslighting. I feel like a lot of relationships will gaslight each other so hard. And so what I mean by that,
what does gaslighting mean?
Gaslighting is like where you're putting the blame on someone else when it's clearly your fault. Like it's like there was this. I saw it on TikTok. Like this girl, she was sleeping with another man, and he was hiding in the closet. And the guy's like, I'm a detective. I know he's like, you really thought you could get past me. Like there's a girl hiding in your closet or there's a guy hiding in your closet. You gonna tell me who it is? And she's like, are you effing crazy? You're so crazy. You always see, this is like, and she's like putting the blame on him. Be like, you're so psycho. Like you literally always think I'm cheating and you're the one who's crazy. Did you not take your meds? Did you not do this? Like coming for him when it's clearly, and then he ends up finding
that's just she guilt was cheating right there. Yeah, that's just guilt.
But that's like gaslighting. It's like when people, it's like, let's say someone texted me and it was a guy, and then you would be like, oh, like you're clearly cheating on me. Like, why are you doing this? It's like you're putting your insecurities on me and you're blaming me of cheating when really you're the one doing it. You know, if it was like that. So I feel like gaslighting is like really just like putting the blame on someone else and accusing them of things. And this actually happened to me in my past relationship because my mom.
Oh, do we have a story? We're not even gonna get into it, but
well, we could talk about it a little bit, but
a little manipulation we've had with a young Katie B.
I was very manipulated in 2 different relationships, but where was I going with this story?
Gaslighting, baby.
Oh yeah, my ex-boyfriend people would text me and then he would just accuse me of cheating. He'd be like, oh, you're cheating because why would that guy say hi to you? Why would that guy tweet you? Why would that? And I was like, wait, what? And my mom told me, and it was the best advice ever. She's like, if a guy is accusing you of cheating for no reason constantly, that's because he's insecure because he's cheating. And I was like, no, mom, like it's not like that. That's exactly what it was. Everything he accused me of doing, he was doing. And that's why he was insecure and thought I was doing it, because he knew what he was doing behind closed doors. And so to me, I was like, that is like the best advice ever. It's like if someone is constantly accusing you of cheating and there's literally no proof, no evidence, you've never given them a reason, you need to look deeper into that, because it's like, why do they think that that's the first thing that's going to happen?
Oh, I agree.
You know?
Gotta avoid the manipulation. You gotta see through the BS.
Speaking of, okay, I want to tell the story. I'll tell it briefly.
Telling the story?
No. So,
like, what story are we telling?
Like last week. So I ran into my ex-boyfriend's family.
Oh yeah,
it was
fun times.
So my little cousin is on a hockey team, and then I like at this like a hockey rink, like me and Josh, my whole family, and I look over and I see my ex-boyfriend's entire family, but thank God he wasn't there. But I just thought it was really funny because I was like, it's so weird. I was like, his mom like looked at me, didn't really say anything, and I was like, it's so weird to think that like you dated someone, and like this was so long ago, but like even like think we've ran into your ex-girlfriend multiple times, and it's like you date someone for so long and like you just like pretend like they're not even there.
Yeah, it's a closed book, you know, it's a closed chapter, you know, like I don't often go back and read books I've already read, you know, or
That's
read a
true.
chapter over again.
But
Like,
isn't it?
why would I do that?
Isn't it weird though? Like that concept to me is always so weird. But I understand.
That is
'cause
weird
It's like I
because-
would never want to say if my ex boyfriend was there. Like I don't really care. Like I would say hi, but I also am not like. So it was so long ago, but it's just a weird concept to me that you knew
Like they
someone
know so much
well.
about your life, you know so much about theirs, but you walk by each other like
You
you're
just,
ghosts. Like you don't even
opposite
know
direction.
each other. Like you never met, but like lo and behold, like you guys know everything about each other. That is a very weird scenario. I always thought that was odd.
I always thought that's weird. It's like you know their family, you know everything.
I actually saw my ex at Starbucks, and
Oh,
I was
yeah.
on a business call, and so yeah, I didn't say hi, but I probably wouldn't have said hi anyways, just because I don't know.
Yeah,
I didn't.
I mean,
to, but
I understand. Like it is such a weird concept, but it's like, what do you really have to say like hi about? Like what do you? It's not like you're on bad terms, but it's not like you're ever gonna be like friends with them, civil with them. Like
yeah, it
so
doesn't
what's
matter.
the point?
I mean,
Like,
you do a little wave
like-
and move on.
you're like, what up?
Well, what's good?
Anyway, okay. So I have a couple of categories. Two categories. I have some advice for women and then some advice for men.
Okay.
So first thing I think for women in dating is don't compare yourself to other girls. Like don't compare yourself to his ex. Don't compare yourself to any other girl that he's been with or anything like that, because I think sometimes that'll lead to insecurities, and insecurities in relationship cause so many issues. It causes so many fights.
Totally.
Like, don't be like, oh, his ex.
And there's a reason why it didn't work out with that person. So why would you want to compare yourself to them anyways?
Yeah. And don't be like, oh, well, like he was physically attracted to this, so that's all he can be physically attracted to. Like, that's not true. And if he's making you feel that way, then he's not the one, you know?
Facts.
And that is something that I think is so important, because like even like your ex versus like my ex, like you and my ex are completely different.
Right.
Me and your ex have a totally different look. Like completely
100%,
different.
yeah.
And like almost like different types. So it's like, why would I be like, oh, like you clearly like me, you know,
100%.
and you liked her. So it's not like, oh, he only likes this type or this, that, or that. You know what I'm saying though? Like, don't go back and be like, oh, he's hooked up with this girl. Like that girl he hooked up is way skinnier, way prettier, way this. It's like, don't do that to yourself.
You'll drive yourself insane. Like
A lot of girls do that
Who
to
would want to
themselves.
do that? Like who wants to compare? You shouldn't compare yourself to anybody
No.
in anything you do.
No, exactly.
Or you're gonna go literally insane.
Exactly. So that was like one of my big advice for women, just because I know they do that a lot.
I like that. Mine is take care of yourself.
Yes.
You know, people appreciate if you take care of yourself, and then also it's yourself. Like you should be the most important person to yourself. So like
Oh, yeah.
physically, mentally, what you're eating, all of that.
Hygiene.
Hygiene. You need
Hygiene's
to take care of
so
yourself. And that's huge for dating, and that's huge for anything in life. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, people are going to be attracted to someone that like cares about themselves. Like,
And not-
something I was attracted to you about was like, okay, like she eats healthy. She cares about what she's eating. So she cares about herself. She likes
Mm-hmm.
to work out. So I could just tell like how much you cared about yourself.
That was-
and took care of yourself.
That was
And
also
that's
very attractive for me, because I was like, he works out all the time. He really cares. Like, and I was like, he has like, not that you have like I was like, he dresses nice. And it wasn't like you dressed like spent all this money on clothes, or like you just dressed put together. And
As
I was
I'm
like,
sitting here
you-
in sweatpants and
yeah, but you still look like put together. I don't know. Like you always like accessorized or did something, and like
Sure.
you always smelled really good. Your hygiene was like so good, and it was so attractive. So I feel like you can never go wrong with good hygiene.
Like, I
or
mean,
taking care of
I
yourself.
can't imagine being a girl and getting in a guy's car on a first date,
And it's-
and the car, like there's McDonald's in the back, like old McDonald's bags, like your nasty gym bag, like
Yeah.
it hasn't been vacuumed in months. Like
This-
that's like an example of that. Is like, if you're not taking care of your own stuff and
Yeah.
yourself, like why would someone else be like, no one's going to be attracted to that. Like,
True.
like when you
This-
got in my car, it was clean. I had a brand new
Smelled
air
so good.
freshener. It was vacuumed. The outside was clean. Like,
This might be something, this might be personal, but for me, I don't know why I find it so unattractive when people don't take care of the things that they own. Like if you own a car, like take care of it. Like if you don't take care of it, it's like, to me, I'm like, they don't value what they own. And like, not that your car is like the biggest importance to you, but like if you have a house, take care of it. If you have a car, take care of it. And when someone's not taking care of the things that they own, to me, I don't know why. Like it kind of gives me the ick. Can you agree? Or
the
like
ick?
it
We're
does.
calling out the icks right now.
It does. Like if I got in a guy's car and it was like disgusting, and not that the car. Like it could be the shittiest car in the world, broken down, but like it's vacuumed and cleaned out and like he's got an air freshener in there. Like there's not crap everywhere. It's not about how much money he has or anything like that. It's like, does he take care of what he owns? Does he have value and pride in what he owns and takes care of things? Because to me, it's a good quality to have. Like someone who's just like clean and takes care of themselves. You know, they value what they own and they take it seriously. So that, I don't know why. That's just like saying for me.
No, I think that's huge for me too.
Okay, another thing I have for women. This is very, very important. Do not ask, and this goes for guys too. Do not ask about their past unless you want to know the truth. And if you want to know the truth, you have to handle the truth.
Oh, I for sure ask. I want to know.
But don't
But like
ask.
not on a first date. I don't ask that on a first date.
But don't ask who they've slept with, who they've done. If you're not okay with it, and if you're going to bring it up later in the relationship, then you need to end the relationship there right then and there. Because it's not fair to someone. Like it wouldn't be fair to you if I'm like, oh, who have you slept with? Like who have you like hooked up with, this and that. And you tell me, and then years and years later, I keep bringing it up. It's like, that was in the past and I knew that. So it's like, I'm either going to accept that and move forward or I'm just not going to move forward with the relationship. It's not fair to you. It's your past. Like everyone deserves to leave the past in the past, you know? And especially something, it's not like, okay, let's say like you cheated, right? Let's say in your past relationship, you cheated, which obviously you didn't, but let's say you did. I know that going forward, I can't bring that up in fights and be like, oh, well, you're a cheater. Because I almost have to like accept that was the past.
Right.
Or like be like, you know, I don't want to be with someone who's done that.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people when they ask that question, like they're not asking because they're like just genuinely like curious. They're asking because they want like ammunition or like, I don't know.
And also like a lot of times girls will like, they want to know like who they hooked up with, but then they get so mad and they get so upset. So it's like, you got to realize like, do you want to just pretend like nothing ever happened and not know details because some girls that works for them? Or do you want to know and just be okay with it and be like, it was in the past?
See, for me, I could never be the person that just like never knew.
So a lot of people are like that.
A lot of people are like that. And that's fine. But like for me personally, I
needed to know.
There's no way I could just be like sitting here looking at you. You're my wife and like literally have no idea about your past. Like hookup history, dating history, whatever it may be.
Exactly.
But then again, if I was still dating at like 30 or maybe an older age, like, you don't know, like maybe, you know, they probably have a bigger past. Like maybe I don't want to know about that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know every single person that you've hooked up with, but I've asked stories and you know, I know a good amount.
Enough.
I know enough. I don't need to know people that I don't need to know things about people that I didn't know or things like that. I just wanted to know because like in case like we were hanging around like a friend group or something and you had hooked up with that, like I want to know that because I don't feel like an idiot, you know. Facts. And that's actually happened to us before. It was like I was like talking to someone and then like Josh had told me that he hooked up with this person and I didn't know. So then I felt dumb and I was like, I wish I would have known. He's like, I told you. And I was like,
but there's no need to feel dumb for that because like you were just being nice. It's not like you guys were like besties or anything. You guys had like a little conversation.
No, I know.
I know what you're saying.
It's more so like the feeling like I would like to know.
Yeah.
But I'm also like a nosy person. Like I'd rather just know.
Yeah. Fair.
But that's me. So you gotta like realize if you want to know or not.
Yeah, see, I don't need to know names or anything, but like I need numbers, like, you know, incidents.
Yeah. Okay. This is something that I said for women and men too, is date someone with your core values. We've talked about this in like being single and finding out your core values. We have a whole podcast on that. But I think it's really important because it's like, how do you want to raise your kids? Let's say I'm like super religious, I'm like Christian, but then you're a totally different religion.
Right.
Well, like you might be able to work that out as yourself, but then if you want to have kids together, like how are you going to raise your kids?
But how would you work that out as yourself? Like you're a team. Like that wouldn't even make sense.
I don't know
what I'm saying. That's
I personally couldn't, but
being a team
do.
And you play football and I play soccer. Like, how are we a team? Like we don't even play the same sport.
No, I agree.
That wouldn't even make sense to me.
But
like,
people do that. They do.
Wild.
People also like a lot of times will have, I feel like it's very common.
I feel like people will change religions for somebody.
Yes.
I feel like that's pretty common.
People will change religions. A lot of people will have completely different political views. But to have
different religious views, I feel like
that'd be hard. That'd be really hard. But then I also feel like I know people could do it, but for me personally, I feel like I couldn't because it would put a distance between our relationship.
Yeah.
Because I don't like, I don't know, it's a religion, something that I'm passionate about. So it's like, I'd want to share that with you. So it would be really hard. But that's why it's important, because if you are someone that's different and you're making it work, you got to figure out, it's like, if you guys want to have kids, like, what do you know, because then you're going to run into
how
other
you're going to
issues.
raise your kids. Like, what,
yeah,
you know?
they're just things I think it's like, you really have to think about the future when you're dating.
If you're looking for the one,
yeah.
You know, like if you're really looking for the one, like dream team.
But
only,
I don't
baby.
understand why people date without the idea of marriage.
No, I think a lot of people do date, but they're just trying to figure out like what they like. Like, you know, like I did kind of would say that's what I was doing. Like before I met you, is like, I was like, oh, like I didn't have any plan of getting married. I also wasn't going on like a ton of dates. Like I was just hanging out with different people, but I was like kind of realizing what I liked, what I thought I needed in a relationship. You know, that's what I would say why people date. It's not like, like if you're just dating a bunch of different people, it's not to always to be like, oh, like a hoe, like I'm hooking up with all these people. It's like, no, like I like the conversation with this person. Like I like the way this person smelled. Like I like their like energy, you know, and like you're kind of like figuring out, and then you find that one person that puts it all together. And
but for
like,
me,
oh, perfect.
I couldn't date someone longer until like once I realized it wasn't going to work.
No, that's fair.
Like, because there's a lot of people who would date and they're
don't drag it on.
Like,
why?
We have a friend who they told us a story about another couple, and they were like, yeah, they've been dating for like 5 years, but they don't even know if they want to get married to each other. I'm like, wait, what? Like, they're not even like married. They're just like, they don't know if they want. They're like unsure about it. I'm like, I would like have to either break it up or get married.
No, see, that's a completely different situation than what I was talking about.
Yeah,
I know
what
like,
you're talking about,
going
like
on like a
dates.
bunch of different little dates or just hanging out.
I'm talking calling someone your boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah, if you're dating for 5 years and you couldn't even see a future with that person, like to me, at that point, you're just wasting your time.
Yeah.
But people love to be comfortable, so.
But yeah, but to me, I'm just like, I need to know, like, I love moving forward in life. So it's like with my relationship, I would need to be progressing. Yeah. But anyway, okay. Next one. This is for men because it's actually a point I got from Love is Blind. I know. Okay. I'm going to bring it up.
I know. So, again.
On the show though, this guy, he was dating this girl. And he's talking about how beautiful the other women are in the room. And the girl, she's like,
that's a big no-no. Come on.
And the girl goes, well, what would you rate me out of 10? He goes, like a 9. And she's like, okay, is there any 10s in this room? He goes, there's a few. And he couldn't understand why her feelings were so hurt. I'm like, you're telling the girl, and mind you, he's engaged to this girl. You're telling the girl that you are engaged with that she's a 9 and the other girls in the room are a 10.
See, like for me, like,
that's so rude.
Calling other girls pretty, beautiful, whatever, that's fine. But like, I feel like that's just like a blatant put down. Like, why would you even do that? Like, that's kind of wild to me.
If you
that's
think that, you
like first of all,
lie then, dude. Like, that to me, I was like,
yeah, there's a lot more that like comes into like, or you a 10 out of 10 or whatever, like than just looks. Like, it's like, you're my wife. Like you're the person for me, you know, like you're above all, like 100%.
But make that person make your significant other feel like they are the most beautiful or most handsome man in the world. Like, to me, it's just crazy because it's like guys will do this all the time in relationships and they're digging their own grave, really. Like, and they don't understand why their girlfriends are so mad. I'm like, well, because you're talking about how nice this other girl's boobs are. You're talking about how big of a butt this girl has and like how attracted you are to this girl. Why do you think that girls get so mad when guys are liking like Summer Rae's pictures or all these girls that were posting all these bikini pictures? But then if their girlfriend were to do the same thing, they'd freaking lose their mind.
True.
So to me, it's like you're literally creating your own problem. Like, what do you want? You know, and do you want your girlfriend or whatever to do that? So I don't know. I just always think that's very interesting because like you've always made me feel like I was so beautiful. Like you've said other girls are pretty, but you've never been like, that girl's so hot. Like, oh my gosh. Like, and like kept going on about it. And I'm like, you've never gone to the point where I'm like,
I wouldn't want you to do that to me.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I was like, but the guy couldn't understand why her feelings were so hurt. And he's like, well, are you insecure? And I'm like, dude, if this girl was on the show and she was like, that guy's a 10 out of 10.
But like to me, so he said like, are you insecure? Like to me, that's a reflection of the guy because like your significant other, if they're like, say like you're my wife. Well, you are. And and you're depressed. Like to me, that's a reflection of me. Like, what am I doing wrong that like you're depressed all the time? Like unless it's like a clinical thing or something, whatever. But like, I should be doing something that different to make you happy. Like, how do we make you happy? Like, you're my team. You're my person. Like, if you're depressed, like, I'm not going to be happy. If you're insecure, you don't feel like the most beautiful, I'm not going to feel that way about myself, because like I should be making you feel that way. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you should feel like
depression might not be
that was
the
maybe
best.
a bad example, but like, if you don't feel the most confident and beautiful, it's like, how can I make you feel that way?
You're a
like
team.
Not
it's
like let me break you down like, oh, you're a 7. And I've joked about this plenty of times. Like, if anyone knows our YouTube channel and stuff, like, that's always a joke. Like, I think KDB is a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
But if I'm like always like, if I'm seriously like, you're a 7, that goes a 9. Like, why would I want to break you down? Like, that makes no sense. Like, why would I want to make you feel like shit? That's
and
so
no offense,
stupid.
I'm not saying that this happens, but like, let's say Joshy B always was calling other girls pretty. He wasn't giving me any attention. A lot of times that's how cheating starts.
Yeah.
Like, when and I'm not saying that it would be okay, but it's like, if you constantly are like breaking me down, making me feel like a worthless piece of crap, that leads to cheating. And I'm not saying that I would, like, Josh could do that to me and it wouldn't make me go and cheat, but it would not make our relationship nearly as strong. It's like, I want to feel so desired and so appreciated by my husband or my significant other that like, you don't even care what anyone thinks, because it's like, you value me, and that's like so important. So I feel like hyping, and that is something that's really important. We actually listened to that in a church service. They were like, you need to be your significant other, like their biggest cheerleader.
I'm your cheerleader, and you
Like,
better be mine too. You better be gassing me up, like, but be honest with me. But you know,
yeah, but gas them up all the time. Like, tell them they look good. Like, make them feel good about themselves. And I just feel like, I don't understand. Sometimes people won't do this in relationships. Sometimes it's easy to get comfortable.
I feel like
it's easy
you get
to
so
forget.
used to your person, it's like almost becomes the opposite. Like, some people start tearing like each other down. I'm like, why would you do that? Like, you're married to this person. This is your person. Like,
exactly. And
but I think we do need to start wrapping it up.
Okay.
Did you have anything else you want to touch on real quick?
Yes.
Any stories?
This is something that's very important. Not a story, but it's just another tip. And it's to not be selfish. Like, be selfless. If someone's in a relationship is built off being selfless. You want to bend over backwards to help the other person, and you want that to be reciprocated as well.
Yeah, you got to be available.
You have to be selfless with your time.
Yep.
But like, you should be so in love with that person where it's not even like, oh, I'm going to help them do this. Like, you're so excited to help them because you love them so much. You know, it's like when I was helping or teaching you how to edit YouTube videos, editing YouTube videos, I did it for so long. It's work. It was work to me. Right. But like, I was so excited to teach you because I was like, oh, he's going to learn something from this. Like, I was so excited to like dive into YouTube with you. And it's like, I just think sometimes when you're with the right person or someone that you're so excited for, it's like, you have to be selfless and it'll come back and forth.
You'd be more willing to go out of your way to do something for someone that you love. 100%. You would hope.
Do you have any other stories or any dating advice?
No, I think I've said enough on this podcast. It's spilled enough tea for today.
I know. I still can't believe your dating story. That's funny. I mean, not really, because I kind of feel bad, but not really.
It wasn't that serious, but yeah, guys, if you guys haven't already, download the Move app. KDB and I worked very hard on that, and we want to inspire people to move, and we want you guys to be along on that journey and movement with us. And the new year is coming up, so you guys want to make sure you guys download it, get ready. I know a lot of people have those goals. It always comes around, big but goals you don't 2023. Don't start the new year. Start now. Like, literally start now, and you'll be so far ahead of everyone that it's like, you'll already feel good. Let's get ahead of the game. Like, get your head in the game. You got to get oh, no. That wraps it up for episode 13 of Your Cup of Tea. We will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys. See ya.